I'm Jenny Fish from One Big Happy Yarn Company, and welcome to our spa-worthy knit along. We are going to be making these amazing little hand towels and washcloths. They are so fun. Look at that. And usable and make great little gifts. But we've got the washcloth here, the hand towel. They are using Lori Holt from Bee in My Bonnet, chunky thread. And it's mostly known for crochet, like she uses it and she's a crochet lady who does lots of crochet projects, but you can also use it to knit with. It's 100% cotton, so it works really well for these kind of projects. We're also using a US size 4 knitting needle. Now, I like circular needles, but we are knitting back and forth, so if you have a straight needle that you'd like to use, you can use that as well, but it's US size 4 or whatever size needle you need to meet gauge. And then just your standard supplies, tape measure, scissors, and tapestry needle, just the normal stuff. We are going to start off with the hand towel. Now, the washcloth is basically the center section of the hand towel. So once you learn how to make the hand towel, then the pattern will show you how many stitches to cast on to make the washcloth, but it's super simple. It's just basically the center portion without this little band on top. The band is what's called linen stitch, and it's a fun little slip stitch pattern that I'll show you how to make. And then after the linen stitch, we're gonna work on the ridge rib stitch pattern, and that gives us this nice little kind of waffle texture looking pattern. And don't forget, you can get the kit at onebighappy.com. Inside the kit, we're gonna have the pattern and all the yarn you need to make a set. Oh, and with this project as well, we have something a little bit different and exciting. You can choose whether you wanna make one set or 2 sets. So we are gonna have a single ladies, and then you can make 2 for the husband and wife. So be sure to check that out when you're looking at the kit and pick which one you want. And there'll be several colors to choose from. There are a ton of beautiful colors in this chunky thread, which is kind of a weird thing when you say chunky thread and you're thinking knitting, because yarn, isn't it yarn? It is yarn. It's 100% cotton. You can use it for this project and you can knit with it. So let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead, on here, I've gone ahead and cast on 16 stitches. I'm just gonna show you a little bit sample here of how we get started with the linen stitch for the hand towel. We'll work through the linen stitch and then we'll move on to the rest of the pattern that is the same for both the washcloth and the dish towel. So, okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cast on. I used a long tail cast on, same as normal. And now we're gonna get started. So we're gonna knit the first stitch. Then we're gonna slip one with the yarn in front, and that is WYIF, stands for with yarn in front. Trust me, it takes more to think about it than when you see it on the paper. You automatically know when you see that W, you're like, oh, with yarn in front. Like when I look at the pattern, I look for the W, and then I look at the end to see if it's an F or a B, because if it's a B, it means back, and F means front. So it's with yarn in front. So I'm moving the yarn into the front, and then I'm slipping that next stitch. And I'm slipping purlwise because I don't want to change the direction of the stitch. And then I come back around because my next stitch is a knit stitch. And I need my yarn in the back to do the knit stitch. So I'm just going to repeat that slip and that knit. So bring yarn to the front, slip the stitch, take the yarn to the back, knit the next stitch. You'll do this all the way across. Bring the yarn to the front, slip a stitch, take the yarn to the back, and knit a stitch. Back and forth, all the way across. Okay, I'm down to the last 3 stitches. I'm going to move my yarn to the front, slip that stitch, bring it to the back, knit, and then I have 1 stitch left, and I'm just going to go ahead and knit that last stitch, then turn my work over. Now I'm on the wrong side of the work. To work this side, you purl 1, And now we're gonna slip this stitch with yarn in back. So remember earlier when I said I see the W and I know, oh, I'm moving my yarn, and if it's an F, it's in front, a B is in back. Well, now you're gonna see the B, it's in back. So I finished purling this stitch. I move my yarn to the back and slip the next stitch. Then I bring the yarn back because I'm purling, so I need the yarn in front of my work now. And then I purl the next stitch. Bring the yarn to the back, slip, bring the yarn front, purl. Back, slip, front, purl. I'm going to go all the way across here, and then we will finish up the linen stitch. Okay, so I'm down to the last 3 stitches. I have my yarn in back. I'm going to slip that, bring it forward, and then I'm going to purl the last 2 stitches. Just like that. So that is row 1 and row 2 of the linen stitch. You just continue working those 2 rows back and forth, and it gives you that texture that looks woven. That's why I like it, because you know on your hand towels at the bottom, you'll have like the factory when they're made, they have this like surged in that makes it all stay together basically. Well, this linen stitch kind of duplicates that woven look right there. Then this strip that I have here is basically, it's still the linen stitch. All I did was just bring in another color and work that. And I'll show you what that looks like here. I'm on row 1. I'm just gonna grab, let's see, this color's right here handy. Just so you can see the contrast in these colors a little bit better. So you just work the linen stitch in the new color, add it in. I'm gonna knit 1. Now on here, because your second stitch is a slip stitch and this is, everything's a little loose, be kind to yourself, be a little loose. You can come back and pull your tails to tighten it up after you've worked the stitch if it gets a little wonky on you. Okay, now I'm bringing it to the front and I'm slipping, taking it to the back and knitting. And then same thing as before, it's just I have a different color in here. And I did just 1 repeat in the other color, but if you wanted to add another stripe to it, you could do another repeat, however you want to do it. But this is how I did it for the pattern, and I really liked that just punch of color in that band at the bottom. Okay, so let me go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll show you how to make the ridge rib pattern. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've worked a little bit of that banding that we have on the end there. And now I want to get into the ridge rib stitch pattern. It's a little tricky to say. I didn't name it. I found the pattern in a stitch dictionary. And if you don't have a stitch dictionary that shows you all kinds of different stitches, I highly recommend getting one and not just always having it on your shelf. Because anytime I want to make something and I want a little stitch definition or a little pattern just to break it up from regular stockinette or garter, I go to my stitch dictionary and I find something and then I give it a test run and see if I like it. And I liked the way this one really looked, especially with this cotton. So after you have worked your little band here, you're going to run and you're going to go to the main color that you want for your project. So since I use the red down here, I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn for this natural color and then add back in this brick red color. It's very rich. I like those two together. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so row 1, we're simply going to knit across. I'm going to add my new color in, which is like what I would consider the main color, and knit all the way across. Don't be worried about all the tails that you get. You can weave those in the end, and they actually weave in really nice into that linen stitch pattern and to like disappear really easily. And this is cotton, so I would recommend leaving a longer than normal tail and weaving in more than you normally do. Cotton doesn't have like those extra fibers like wool does, so you want to give yourself more weaving in to secure it so it doesn't come out. Okay, so I've knit all the way across row 1. Now I'm going to come back on row 2 and purl all the way across. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Just simply purl. Okay, so before I get started on the ridge rib pattern, there's a couple of things that I want to kind of go over. It's kind of knitting math. I've worked the math out for you and it's in the pattern. But when you're working a stitch pattern with texture, a lot of times you're going to see something that it gives you a stitch count of a repeat of 3 plus 1. And when you're looking at your stitch dictionary and you're looking at these different patterns, it may say a repeat of 16 plus 1. What that means is you're going to repeat 16, 16, 16 till you get to the length that you want and then add 1 at the end. And that's there for a reason. In this case, the linen stitch that we worked here at the bottom was a repeat of 2 plus 1. That's why we had the knit 1, then slip 1, and then at the end we had the 2 knits together, and then on the other side we had a purl 1, slip 1, repeated, and then at the end there's 2, you purl 1 twice. It's to get it to work out, because if you did the same stitch on both sides, then you'd have columns of stitches, but because they moved a little, then it gives you the texture that you need. When we get into the ridge rib pattern, this is a repeat of 3 plus 1. So as we go along, our numbers are off by 1 between the linen stitch and the ridge rib. So the first row, as soon as you start this ridge rib pattern, and you only do this 1 time, and it's in the pattern, so follow your pattern, but we need to get the stitch count to match the pattern that we're going to be knitting. To start off with, we're going to knit 2 together. That's going to get us down to the stitch count that we want so that our texture pattern will work out in the space that we have. And again, all the math is already done for you. It's in your pattern. Just follow it along and it'll show you. So after we get that, we're just going to continue knitting all the way across. The next time you come to this repeat of the pattern, you don't do that knit 2 together. You just knit. So we're going to knit all the way across. Then I'm going to come back and purl all the way across. And then we'll get on to the rest of this repeat. Now that I've finished row 1 and row 2, which is knit and then purl, we're ready for row 3 and row 4 of this pattern repeat. Super simple. Follow along with me. We're going to knit 1. That's going to get us started. Now we're going into the repeat, which is purl 2. Knit 1. And you're going to repeat the purl 2, knit 1 till the end of the row. That's all you have to do on this one. Purl 2, knit 1. I'm finishing up the last 2 stitches on row 4, which is the knit 2 and purl 1. And there we go. That is our repeat for the ridge rib pattern right there. And here it is on our hand towel. So we've worked the linen stitch here, and then this is the repeat. It's this little 4 rows right across there, and then you just continue repeating those back over and over and over again. The pattern will tell you how many repeats I did before I started my color change. It's the same exact thing as I showed you when we changed colors when we were making the band. You just start knitting that row with the new color on row 1. Repeat that through. And then when you get to the top here, to the top band, you're back to the linen stitch, which I already showed you how to do that. So you finish it off with exactly the same thing you did at the beginning and then bind off. And your hand towel is done. How exciting is that? To do the washcloth, in the pattern, it'll tell you how many stitches. It's 55 stitches to cast on, and that's my cast on. And then you don't do the linen stitch band, unless you wanted to, I guess, but I chose not to on the washcloth. And then I just went right into that ridge rib pattern. And that's in, of course, written, the instructions are in the pattern for you so that you can follow along. And then I worked those over and over and over again, bound off, and boom. there you go. Isn't that pretty? I think they make such a cute little gift for somebody. So thank you for joining me for the spa-worthy set where we made the hand towel and the washcloth. You can get the kit that has the pattern and the yarn at onebighappy.com. And don't forget to check through the options on those kits. And you can choose whether you want to make a single or a double, and all the yarn will be there for you too. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and happy knitting.